Hey everyone, it's Jimmy T. So this past county commission meeting, the commissioners had a consultant come in who talked to them about the road conditions and the cost. So what they found out, or what they presented, was that just under half of the roads in Citrus County are either standard or pretty good. Now, slightly over half are either poor or very poor. And of that percentage that is either poor or very poor, 30% are very poor. Now, they gave a good position on, we need to fix these roads and this is important going forward. And this is all in support of the need for the 1 cent sales tax. So regardless of if you're for or against it, this raises a pretty good question though. With a potential $500 million plus cost to repair and repave the roads, do we really need to do all of them? Do we? Well, the answer to that is no. Actually, there are roads in Citrus County that nobody lives on that would not basically block people from traveling or cause people to be what's called landlocked, which means that they have no access to a road. So there's easily a handful of those roads out there. Now, the reason I bring that up is because if we basically abandon or vacate these roads, as is allowed in Florida statute, that potentially saves us millions of dollars. Now, out of $500 million plus charge going forward, it's pennies in a bucket, you say, but that's millions of dollars they could save by vacating or abandoning these roads no one lives on, no one travels on regularly, would not landlock anybody. And in the long term, it increases the savings because once it is abandoned going forward, 10, 20, 30 years, it won't need to be repaved or repaired ever again because now it's reverted back to the property owners. Now, some people will say, but Jimmy, the landowners will sue us. Yes, that's what the attorney will tell the county commissioners of why they can't vacate or abandon these roads. But here's what you don't know. Other counties have already done it. Matter of fact, Columbia County was actually sued about this. And guess what? They won. So here's an opportunity, literally, to stop spending millions of dollars on roads nobody lives on. Absolute millions of dollars. Stop having to have a longevity cost of repaving them in the future. Now, could they do this? Again, the answer is yes. Hernando County's done this. Broward County's done this. Lee County has done this. A number of counties in the state have done this. It can be done. And they're screaming for the need of more money. But nobody is actually saying, well, maybe we don't have to spend all that money on all those roads. I am. It's time for Citrus County to go and look at all the roads in this county. They've been mapped. Go to the GIS services within this county. Find roads that nobody lives on, that are county roads, and vacate them, abandon them, turn them back to the property owners, saving the taxpayers of Citrus County potentially millions and millions of dollars. It's really not that hard, but it also gives you the example. Why do I know these things and the county commissioners don't? Because when I was a county commissioner, I would actually get briefings about things like this, go to meetings with people in the industry and ask questions. And FDOT told me, absolutely, you can abandon roads. So it can be done. It will save us potentially millions of dollars, and it should be done. And for that one county commissioner who sometimes gets lucky and finds statutes just before she votes, let me give you a helping hand so you can start researching now. Florida statute 336.12 allows the land to be given to the property owners. It has an entire process on how to do it. And like I said, it's being done. It can be done. It should be done. It will save and free up millions of dollars for the county road improvement program. So commissioners, I know you guys get wind of what I say. Not telling you have to, but damn it, it'd be stupid to waste millions of dollars on roads nobody lives on. Let's look into it. I'm always harping on things about the economy and saying, hey, we need to grow the economy. And recently there was a ribbon cutting for, a new helipad. A company's going to be here and they're going to have a helipad. They might grow a job or two. Good. But we have people who actually live in this county, work in the aviation industry, wants to bring jobs here, has gone to a supposed specialist who's a county commissioner who deals with aviation, and basically was ghosted. Basically, this person wants to bring the potential to do aviation jobs here, maybe even grow and work with the school system and things like that. And a county commissioner basically ghosted that individual. Now, when it came to it, they gave a ribbon cutting for a helipad, but somebody who actually wants to come in and grow jobs, they basically have ghosted. So this is the problem with this county. You have county commissioners that are supposed experts in a particular industry, but when somebody in the industry who is an actual expert because they actually work in the industry and didn't just have a family member related to it, this person wants to bring jobs here. They should be having, well, a pat on the back and an easy path forward. Instead, they have faced roadblocks because, well, in particular, one county commissioner who they thought they could go to has basically closed the door on them. Although I'm pretty sure that person would be proud of the helipad and the ribbon cutting. We need to change our ways if we're ever going to grow jobs in this county. We really need to think about the aspect of we're putting up more barriers and more blockades to the entry for individuals in this county who want to grow jobs. But if you're a larger established business, we give you a pat on the back and a ribbon cutting. We need to do better. At the last county commission meeting, it was suggested that a group called Live Wildly, who has worked with Florida, Republicans and Democrats, absolutely bipartisan, that they do a survey in reference to the roads. Yeah, so here's my problem with that. One, it's great to have something done for free. Appreciate it. The same county commissioner basically is going to have more conservation research done, not job research, but conservation research done for the county. And they're using this basically conservation group, you see a pattern forming here, and basically have them do a phone survey and do it in a timely manner. But let's look into this group a little bit. This group, Live Wildly, has supported the economic value of conservation, meaning tourism jobs. We got a lot of those already. That's not really good high-paying jobs for everybody, and we need to do things like manufacturing and have a road infrastructure that supports things like manufacturing. All right, well, what else have they done? They worked to ensure sustainable growth that encourages ecotourism. Again, okay, we kind of already have that. I'm really looking for some kind of entity that's out there supporting better paying jobs and not just tourism jobs, because it doesn't have a high tax base and it doesn't really pay a lot in long-term wages. And we still see our kids leaving because that's not the industry they graduate to go into. But maybe on the infrastructure side, there's a clear and concise focus on them working to improve our infrastructure so we can grow our economy. I looked into that, and guess what? They're focused on building infrastructure that is wildlife friendly. So I guess the turtles don't get run over, or the squirrels don't get run over, or deer or whatever. Okay, I can appreciate that. But again, they're working on conservation issues. So we have hundreds of millions of dollars in future costs for road infrastructure. We have the need to grow the infrastructure to allow for the growth of the economy. And we're going to ask a group that does conservation, again, bipartisan, but does conservation to do a survey. What kind of survey are they going to come out with? Because it seems like every time they do something, it's always about, well, saving animals, protecting the environment, and ensuring that any growth that happens is focused on conservation. I think we kind of already have a focus on conservation. Matter of fact, the same county commissioner suggested this survey is basically having a study done for conservation, even though this county commissioner basically represents what is probably the most economically deprived area in the entire county, that has the most blighted buildings in the entire county. This person, this county commissioner, is going to get her way, and she's going to have more, because you can watch the plants overgrowing these old businesses. There you go. Conservation through blight. Well done. We need to actually start thinking about real economic growth. We already have a good movement towards conservation. Republicans and Democrats both agree. We need to focus on our development to infill and to encourage less of the larger developments and make sure we don't pave over the county. We got that. Okay, great. How much more in the way of conservation? Do we need to put conservation across the entire county? Because if we are, you can drive down Highway 41 from Floral City to Denellen, or take 200 from Hernando all the way up to the Marion County border and look at it. There's your conservation. Empty buildings, kids leaving, no economic growth, basically nothing happening that's positive. There's your conservation. You're conserving all of that. There's no growth. Well done. No economy. Congratulations, Commissioner. Your job on focusing on conservation is going like gangbusters. Nobody's building there worth a hoot. Just more development. Good job, Commissioner. Your work on conservation has completely ignored the fact that there's no jobs, that the Hernando area is going to lose buildings because of the expansion of 41, which has to happen because of the population growth, which means you're going to lose tax revenue to the county. And as Commissioner Bay said, conservation is taking property off of the tax rolls we currently don't have enough money coming from, causing them to raise taxes. So too much conservation is a bad thing. Not enough is a bad thing. Are we balancing this? Hell no. You got one commissioner whose sole focus is conservation. At the same time, they talk about having people being able to afford houses. Hey, here's the thing. Maybe stop focusing on trying to find cheap ways to get government-supported homes and actually encourage the development of the economy so people can pay for a damn home themselves. Do you not see how backwards this is? We're fighting to make sure that we don't have growth of residential. I got it. Change the policy towards infill. But also, if you want people to afford the houses or apartments or anything, you've got to grow the economy and over focus on conservation, which one commissioner seems to be solely focused on, is basically detrimental to the future of this county, both in a tax-based way and for any young people who want a damn decent paying job for this county. We need to balance this effort. And so far, the scales are so heavy on conservation, our kids are, well, fleeing on a regular basis because there's no future for them. You know, we often talk about DC and the swamp. Sometimes you hear about like Tallahassee and lobbyists and things like that. Does it happen here? Well, yes. Yes, it does. Recently, I posted on my social media the images that were a screenshot of Commissioner Kennard and the failed journalist / gossip columnist Mike Wright having a conversation. And then subsequently, that commissioner taking what the failed journalist suggested and directly sending it to the attorney to get it added. What? Are you kidding me? Why is a commissioner following the lead of a journalist? Well, people say, well, Jimmy, he's connected with the people. Are you kidding me? Have you ever seen this guy in public? He stalks around. He's a wallflower. People don't go up and talk to him. He doesn't have his fingers on the pulse of the community. No, he has some key players who will regularly tell him what he wants to hear. Or he'll have the progressives and liberal Democrats feeding him things that he should write. He has failed on journalistic ethics. So where is he getting this voice of the people from? I mean, when's the last time he's hung out with somebody who's just a good old boy in this county, gets his hands dirty every day working? Where's that relationship? How's he getting to suggest that this is what people will support? How the hell does he know? He doesn't. He's working with the swamp. He's working with the people who are behind the scenes, who are driving this. And for him to have more access than you, able to text the county commissioner and get the county commissioner to change something right away, can you do that? No. See, and this is why people say we don't trust the county commissioners. You can't have people, specifically people like the gossip columnist, telling you what you should put in language for the people to consume. Well, don't worry. I'm sure that, if nobody had mentioned this, at some point there'd be some very nice things said about that commissioner, very nice things said about the change in language and how people should support it because it was his idea. Again, there is a history of this guy just screwing this county over, allowing people to be abused in the school system, ignoring actual real news, and basically covering for his friends. And this is the individual that's behind the scenes leading the county? How the hell did this happen? No, your voice counts just as much. And if anybody in the media is giving directions to a county commissioner, well, let me tell you, county commissioners, you should ignore it, especially since we know they really don't have their fingers on the pulse of the people. They just have their fingers on the pulse of the key players and what they want. So it's time for us to actually start addressing our county commissioners in the same way. You got a suggestion? Go there. See if they'll throw it on the language right away or send it off to the lawyer to have added. The chance of that happening? None. So again, is there a swamp in Citrus County? You damn straight there is. And it needs to stop. This past week, Governor Ron DeSantis came to Citrus County. And he gave Citrus County and some others millions of dollars. Specifically, he gave Citrus County millions of dollars to repair the sewer lines that were affected because of the hurricanes. Good, great, but I always have a but. But in the end, the question goes, if we are already putting money towards that, then where can that money go instead? You see, money is fungible. Whenever money comes in from one entity, it goes into others. So quite often, people in this county have said, well, we have these unpaid for mandates. I'm sure they're not complaining the governor just gave them millions of dollars. So instead of the money that was going to be needed to repair these sewer and water lines, the state is handling that. We now can shift that over to other projects that maybe, who knows, were unfunded mandates, because money is fungible. This is what people don't understand. Whenever they're complaining about, well, the state's making us do this, it's the taxpayer dollars. Well, the state's making us do that. Well, then if you don't want the state to make you pay things, then maybe don't go to the state and ask them. See, this is the game that gets played all the time in the world of politics. The other guy is the bad guy. We would be able to deal with it if the other guy didn't make us do things. And then they go ask the other guy to help pay for things. You can't have it both ways. So it's good that we had the governor come in and provide money for sewer and water, because we do need to protect our environment in that sense. I've always supported cleaning up the water, sewer and water projects, and things like that. Absolutely. Good for the governor to come and do that. Let's see where the money moves, or will we even get to know? Welcome to government. Lastly, there's something that I've often wondered, and I'll share it with you, and you guys, please tell me your opinion. Whenever an individual comes up to the county commission to speak there, or any board, basically, especially if it's a county-run board, they are asked to give name and address. Now, again, legally, they can do that. They absolutely can. So state statute and even the Constitution allows for that to be done. But in today's world, where you have the rabid liberals out there attacking conservatives, we know that putting something out there like that basically makes an easier pathway to potentially have somebody be attacked or somebody go to their home. Now, so yes, they do have to give them information, but they're filling out a card. Then why do they have to announce it on the video for whoever's watching? Mind you, not a lot of people watch, but for those who do or want to go back and find the individual's information, they can. So I suggest a simple policy change. Simply ask for the name of the individual so you can address them, Mr. or Mrs. So-and-so, or Tom or Joe, and ask, have you filled out the card? Have the clerk who's sitting there confirm the card has been filled out, and then give them their 3 minutes or 5, depending on the situation. This would allow a layer of protection in a world that's just gotten crazy with Democrats and liberals being violent. And it's sad that we have to come to this kind of situation, but we know that the ones who lose their temper the most, well, let's admit it. You've seen the meetings. You've seen videos from Charlie Kirk and others. It's always the left that is blowing their top. So to help prevent any kind of potential harm to individuals, at least put up one barrier of accessing people's information. Change the policy, and let's make sure people can have a voice, and it's not so easy for others to take advantage of that information. I'm Jimmy T. Thanks.